In the bunker. We're live. We're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Where's our faces? There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to work on today, we're going to start with the double underpass and most, I guess more importantly, responses to it, okay? How to deal with it. And so there's early prevention and there's later prevention. There's a lot of things we can do, but I'm going to cover as many of those things as I can, and we'll try to try to help some folks out. If you have any questions, it doesn't have to be related to the double under guard pass. It could be anything. Please type in the comments there and let us know. So for those of you who have, make sure you get your gi on, David, because I'm going to have to borrow you here in a second, because one of them is a little bit not so fun. I'm probably not going to do it to you. And I think we've actually covered some of this stuff. Yeah, so let's go over let's talk about the double under guard pass, okay? Can I do it to you? You all right?
Yeah.
Still recovering from a major accident, but I'll be gentle, okay? So we're going to start here in the guard, okay? How you open the guard, really, it doesn't matter, right? However you decide that you want to open the guard, once we get the guard open, then we have to figure out, then we've got to protect our hips, keep them and dominate this middle position, and then find a way to come underneath here, okay? So this is the first step, is getting down here like this, and then we're going to scoop them up and put the hands together. Now the nice thing about this pass is that it is great whether you're training jiu-jitsu in a gi, without the gi, self-defense, it doesn't matter. It's a good guard pass, okay? And it's a very safe one. So here, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go low here with the arms and high with the shoulders. I pick a side, I'm on my toes, I'm gonna walk around, and then I'm gonna, kick the computer and drop my hips, push my hips to the floor, and my body kind of moves the legs out of the way just like a wave. Okay, so very basic stack pass. But what I want to work on today is how to respond to this guard pass. So, Saban, I'm going to borrow you, because some of this is a little bit more punishing than I think your mom wants to deal with right now. Some of it is. So I'm going to throw out a bunch of stuff. Maybe this should be a whole second video, but I'll try to cover as much as I can here. And so let's start here, okay? Come on, let's go. We're live. You ain't got time to warm up. It's time to roll. All right, so early prevention is key, okay? He gets the guard open, he scoops underneath. Right away, I don't want him to scoop me up. If he scoops me up here, boom. Now this is late stage defense, okay? I have to respond earlier if I'm able to. Okay, so early response, very simple, is just making your legs heavy, okay? And if I can move myself away, he wants to be here. So when he scoops me up, this is where he has his power. It's from his points of base here. So when he's able to scoop me up, yes. He's very strong in this position. Now he can shuck himself down, getting low, and now, man, he can really put a lot of pressure with the shoulders high, arms low. He's got good leverage, okay? And my legs are kind of bound up. So I want to respond earlier. So let's go back. Let's rewind, okay? Now, as he gets the guard open, he scoops underneath. He's strong here, okay? But if we grab the wrist, if we move out, okay, try to pick me up, okay? I move. Now I can have space if he's trying to lift too early. But a lot of times what people do is they try to dig first. They want to try to get low. And then I move myself out. I get really heavy here. Now I'm going to hook, okay? Now there's a couple ways you can do this, all right? Am I still in the frame here or do I need to move, okay? There's a couple ways you can do this. If I have a hold of his wrists here, you can actually hold the sleeves too. Either one is fine. I prefer holding the wrists, okay? You can hook here, okay? Or you can hook all the way across, all the way to the far side hip, okay? And here's what it looks like. I'll do it on this side so you guys can see, all right? Now, once I do that, I can literally just straighten my legs and lift up his wrist. Okay? And that's a shoulder lock. You feel it in your shoulder, right? Okay? Another option, if you can't get the foot all the way across the belly, is to hold here, pass this leg over, hook, and now you can stretch. Okay? Now, the other thing you can do is once you get here, is abandon this. If you don't want to go for the shoulder lock, grab his belt, put your weight on his back right there, sit up. Aha! Now I can start running through his back, okay? So all those are very simple to do early on. And again, if there's any space and I can dig under, good. If there's any space and I can flip my foot, a lot of people are very bendy and they can flip the foot inside like this. That's perfectly great. Like if you're able to do that. It's a little risky though, because the guy who's really good and sticky is gonna follow you. Okay, he's gonna keep that, yes, and look what I'm doing is the closer I get with my leg here, the closer he gets. So this can be a problem, all right? So a lot of people will do what Zaven did, is grab the collar, they'll grab the belt, they'll grab the pants, whatever they can to scoop you up, all right? Now, and I know I'm throwing a whole lot of stuff out there, but it's all fun. Another option is we're here, and I'm able to sit up, okay? One thing you can do is just come here and do an arm drag. So I can just push down on the floor here, post here, and I scoop my hips out this direction at the same time. I drag like this. And now I have a chance to run to his back again. So that's also another simple option. I'm trying to think, I should have wrote all this stuff down. Let's see. Oh yeah, another option here, okay? If he's bearing down and I'm trying to move myself out, if I can get here and pass his head underneath, I can go for a really gnarly loop choke. So I'm here, I'm shallow on the grip. So I'm here and he's trying to dig underneath. I'm making my legs heavy and I pop his head down here. Now, I need to keep this, I don't want to lay back yet because his head will pop out. What I want to do now, I could do this, okay? I could just, let's turn this way.
Yes,
yeah, so everybody can see. I could do this and finish here, but sometimes it's hard to control, okay? Especially when he has this grip here. What I prefer actually is once I get this here, it's throwing this leg over top and then figure four-ing here. Now try to move. Where are you going to go? Now I just stretch and push for the loop choke. Okay, so that's also an option. All right, now let's get into a little bit later stage. Okay, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you the $10 move of the day. He scoops underneath. Boom. Now, let's say I try to make myself heavy. I try to keep him from lip. That's best if you can keep them from scooping your hips up. But let's say he's able to. Go ahead, scoop me up. Boom. Right away. Frame. Drop my hips and knees come out, okay? So I have to use, so as he scoops me up, if I wait too long, I'm in trouble. Extend your hips, lock your arms out, drop your hips. Now, you could, if you want to get fancy, just drop one leg, shoot them up for the triangle, okay? So, let's see. Maybe $10 move time. If you really want to get super fancy and make the highlight reel, this is the one I didn't show on Mandy the other day because it was, did you ever see it? Did I show it to you? You're about to eat the mat, son. Here we go. All right, here's what it looks like. Let's do it from this angle. He scoops underneath, but he's down low. Okay, like this, and we're having this battle. Hold here, good. Yes, and I'm having this battle. I'm scooting away. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push his head down, and I grab the belt at the same time. Okay, when I grab his belt, I push his head down. I'm going to bring this. If I push his head down with my right hand, my right leg goes here, right on the back of his head. I post my right hand, left foot. Now I'm going to break the grip by driving my hips up. Okay, so I'm going to pull here, I'm going to drive my hips up to break the grip, pop, boom, boom. And now we're going to take her back. Okay, so you go from double under guard pass to take the back. So yeah, there you go. How long was that? 5-6 minutes?
We're at 12:09.
12:09, 9-minute, no, that was probably, I talked about 3 minutes probably. That was a, well, I don't know, 7 or 8 minute primer on the double under guard pass. So later on, you guys can go back and review some of those techniques. I didn't go into a whole lot of detail, but there's some simple options for you from one of the most common passes out there. So give those a try. The last one really is just a fun technique. I learned that. It's so funny, you know, jiu-jitsu, the experiences you have with jiu-jitsu and like the things that kind of that make impressions on you. It's weird. Like some techniques, I don't remember where I learned them, But there are some small details, some things that were like awesome and transformative and all that stuff, and that I picked up like from different people that I would never forget. And I remember the experience. It's burned in my brain. And that one in particular, that last one that I just showed, I learned that on the side of the mat at the 1996, my first trip out to California. I lost in my second match to John Crouch, who's I won my first match. I was in the wrong weight division. I was in the weight division above what they signed me up in the weight division above me. And I was actually in the lower end of the weight class I was supposed to be. So I was supposed to be middleweight. They signed me up in light heavy. And I panicked because I was getting weighed in, and Gracie's weighing me in, and he's like, "I don't see your name here, sir." I'm like, "You better check again." I flew all the way out to California, like I'm 22 years old, something like that, and I'm freaking out because, like, man, like I came all the way out here for this tournament, and it was huge. They had purple belt matches. It was amazing. Like, holy crap, there's going to be purple belts competing. It was incredible, and it was just a great experience. But it was the yeah, I mean, it was nuts. And Helson showed up, and he was there, and he brought one guy from Hawaii, and that one guy from Hawaii smoked everybody. And his name was Barrett Yoshida. Barrett's a really incredible, one of the best American grapplers of all time, for sure. And he showed me that technique on the side of the mat, and I was like, "Ooh, that's so cool! I'll never forget that." So that was 1996, the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Association tournament. Sorry. Icing in my water bottle, and like and I've hit it a lot since then. So it's not that flashy. It really isn't. It's just a moment of opportunity, and it works. Like if the person stays down low like that, I've pulled it off a lot in the past. So all right, Billy's Dojo. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed that. We have any? Mike McLean. You are welcome, sir. A Jedi killer, yeah, sure is. That's a fun one. But one thing I'll add, and if you guys have any questions, kind of throw it in there. One thing I'll add is something for the person to do on the top, and this is very simple to do, but it's a timing thing. And so I'll do. You remember the defense where you push your hips up and lock out? I showed you that. So I can't remember what was the scenario. It was somebody was doing the pass to you, and you were having a hard time with it, and I was showing you how to defend it. Is that right? Who was it that was it Natalie or Laura or somebody?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It's been too long ago.
Well, if you pay attention, I'm going to share with you how to stop this defense, because I showed her the defense. I didn't show you the counter to the defense. All right. So here we go. All right. So remember, we do this, right? We're here, and we scoop up. And we get this connection. As soon as she pushes here, I know I'm not going to be able to I switch. My hand comes through. I pass. Boom. So it's a moment of opportunity. Before they drop their knees all the way out, I'm going to thread my arm. So as she extends, I'm going to thread this arm through. I hook her leg, and I change the angle here. And then I drop, and I can smash around to this side. So very simple, but it's one that, in the right moment, the right opportunity, sometimes it just takes one little detail to shut down the whole thing, So it's one of those beautiful things about jiu-jitsu. Like sometimes it's just one little thing, and once you learn it, you'll never forget it, and it works, and you're like, man. Yeah, so any questions out there, folks? You guys got anything you want to see? Trying to think of what else we could do from the double under. Oh, I know what I was going to show. Yes. Yeah, let's go back. I forgot one. Let's go back. Here we go. Let's have you on this side, Bubba. So here we go. Double under guard pass. This is probably the one I don't know why I forgot to show this. This is probably what I do most often. Okay, this is probably my go-to defense to the double under guard pass. When I see them dig under, I dig under. Okay, and when you do this, you have to make sure that you commit and you shoot this arm all the way up. Okay, I may have shown this one already. Did I show this? Okay, not today, but maybe more of the other videos?
I don't know that.
Maybe, okay. But as long as I have this, try to pass. Lift me up. I'm connected to it, right? Plus I'm heavy. Right? I'm heavier than normal. okay? Now, if I have this and he goes to lift, go slow, if the person's strong, they can actually use your own hips to hyperextend your arm. So you can get arm locked here. So you have to fully commit. This arm, as he digs under, you have to dig under, okay? And you have to have a positive bend. Now, I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna grab right here on my wrist. This comes here on this side of his head. So I'm driving this down right on top of his shoulder blade down towards his clavicle here, okay? Right against his neck. Now, it's very strong position. I'm gonna flare this left elbow outward this way at the same time I kick that leg. I lock it up. If he stays there, I can finish the shoulder lock, straight arm lock, or we can switch here for the triangle choke, okay? So that is, that's probably what I go for most often.
You do it to me all the time.
You're welcome. That's
Billy's-
probably the one.
I don't
Billy's
think I recognize
Dojo
any of
wants
the
to
other
know
ones.
what your favorite guard pass or highest percentage guard pass is.
Oh man, so highest percentage for me, honestly, the older I get, the one that I like the most is the first one I learned, which is the stack pass. Whether not necessarily double under, but a lot of times just the standard hand on the collar, one arm stack pass, just like this. I'm also a big fan of the knee through, but this one here, just the standard here like this, okay? This is probably my favorite I go to if I can get to that position. It's difficult, the higher level belts to get, like you almost have to bait sometimes triangles. And so that's what I almost have to expose myself to triangle a little bit to get it because people are pretty good at, early prevention. They see this, right? And this is kind of like they know that the possibility of the stack is there. So a lot of times they're gonna stop that. Some people will try to take the bait and go for the triangle even if they don't have the elbow. But the more and more educated the person gets, the less likely that is to happen, okay? So a couple things you can do is you can block their hip, because a lot of times what he wants to do, he sees this, he's gonna be heavy here and scoot his hips out this direction. Well, that opens up sometimes the knee through pass on this side, and you always wanna have complementary passes, one that works well with the other one, okay? And at the end of the day, when you look at guard passing, it's very simple. Well, it's simple, but it becomes complex, right? I say it's simple, but it's not, okay? But in essence, it kind of is. There's only 3 ways to get past the legs and get past the guard, okay? Either over the legs, okay, under the legs, or around the legs, okay? Only 3 ways. There's a million different combinations, but what you want to do, and typically what you'll find yourself doing is find a guard pass that works well for you and find complementary guard passes that go off of it. So for example, again, this under the legs guard pass, switch your move your hips out to that side, works very well in tandem with this over the legs guard pass. Okay, so you always want to have those options and figure out what guard passes work well for you and just keep going for them. Just keep improving that basic guard pass. I started with one guard pass and just kind of, be out of necessity when people got better at responding to it. I got better at the other guard passes that complemented that guard pass. But you have to find one that works well for you. I've never been quick. I've never been a fast player. So the around the legs guard passes, like Toriando, things like that, typically are going to favor smaller, quicker players, okay? Because they're faster. But you'll still see guys even back in the day, like Leo Vieira, who was very good at using around the legs guard passes, very dynamic, very quick player, but using around the legs guard passes to set up, even stack passes and over the legs passes. So he was a great example, I think. And then you guys like Terere, who was just an amazing, he was good all over the place, but very good guard passer as well. But yeah, I mean, the other one that works very well for me that I go to a lot, if the guard is already open, if I'm starting in the closed guard, I'm always looking to protect my hips for when the guard opens, whether I open it or he opens it, protecting my hips so I can get underneath and try that stack pass. If I'm approaching somebody whose guard is already open, quite often what I'm looking for is a knee through pass. And typically it's going to be this one. I'm going to start here, I'm going to go right through the sternum, okay? And I start attacking the neck right away, almost like I'm assuming knee in the belly. So for me, those are my two that I probably start with the most, and then I kind of just branch off depending on what he does. And remembering that when you're going forward and you're putting pressure, at some point, you know, you have to prioritize certain things. You want to protect yourself, right? You want to protect your neck, your arms, and your base. And then, when you're able to, in any position, depending on what they're doing, one of the things that I try to do my best with is just, if I'm safe, I want to make them carry my weight. Okay? If I can protect those three things, I don't necessarily have to move forward at any particular time. I don't have to pass now, or in 3 minutes, or in 20 seconds, or whatever. I'll pass when the opportunity's there. If it comes in 20 seconds, I'll take it. If it comes in 3 minutes, I'll take it. But I don't want to rush, and I think that's a very, very important thing for anybody to be mindful of. Is that when you're doing jiu-jitsu, especially on the top, if you have an opportunity, even if I'm in the guard and I can make him carry my weight, well, why wouldn't I do that? Because by the time I do, if I can burn him out and stay safe, and then 3 minutes later, right, I can pass the guard easier, and he's more tired, and then I can finish him easier. That's better than fighting really hard for 20, 30 seconds, expending my own energy, and then not having enough energy to hold a position or attack, and then they're able to escape again. Then I got to fight through it again. So I think that's probably from a what's the word? I don't want to say a philosophical standpoint, but from a strategic standpoint, it makes sense that you use your weight as much as you can. Maximize your weight, and really look how you can cut angles, because everything for them to prevent you from getting here, a lot of it's going to be frames and controls. So you start untying the knots, and you start looking for angles. So if I'm here, man, there's a lot of bugs doing this. There's a spider behind me. Okay, we're out in the shop, so let's say I start to come across here like this, and he brings his leg across here. Okay, now he's got a strong frame here. Hold me up. Push me. There you go. Hold me up. Good. Okay, very easy. Push, 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 push with your leg. Yes. Not too hard, right? I'm heavy, but this is a very strong angle for him. Okay, so how do I solve this problem? I didn't get heavier. I changed the angle. Okay, and now I look for an option there. So much of guard passing is pressure and angles. Okay. Around the legs, it's very dynamic. I try to steer clear of those. I want to take space away. And I think that's something that's very, when you're using those concepts, that's very, very, you can have longevity, I think, in jiu-jitsu that way. I'm not any quick, I don't think I'll ever get much quicker than I am now. I can definitely work on some things to make myself a little bit more dynamic, but that's not going to help me against somebody who's, his age, who's quicker than me, right? But gravity is the same for a 20-year-old as it is for a 46-year-old. So when in that position and I can utilize my weight, I haven't lost much strength. In fact, I think I'm stronger than I was when I was in my 20s. I'm positive of that, actually, and obviously more technical. And I use my weight better. So those are the types of passes, the over the legs, under the legs passes, and the combination of pressure and angles. Those are the things that are allowing me to still play the game against younger guys and be effective, right? So I hope that helps. I got onto a little bit of a tangent.
Imagine that.
Amazing.
David Gottlieb wants to know, do you have any good grip breaks for a deep collar grip?
Oh, man. Yeah, sort of. Deep is difficult. And I mean, it's just by nature of it. Put me in the guard, please. So, if somebody gets a deep collar grip on me now, I don't fight it that much, because it's, or at least not always, okay? What I usually will do is defend very well and really kind of annoy them to make them let go. So one of the things I really like a lot is this. Attack my neck. You don't like this. You don't like that, do you? You can, like wrist lock, it's kind of a pain. I'm grabbing over top of his forefingers, and just covering his knuckles. Not this, but this, okay? So whether it's his whole hand or whatever, but you don't like it, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Oh, thank you. Okay, or what else would he do? Okay, I annoy him with this hand. He's annoying me with that grip. What else? How else can you free your hand without you taking this hand of the collar? Well, you let go of the guard. Now I can start my pass. So that's what I like a lot. But if I really did want to get rid of it, if I can keep my posture up, hold tight. Okay, if I can keep my posture up, I would put both hands here. Now be careful. I've had people hyperextend my elbow when I was this person here. So don't do this abruptly. Okay. And I was going light, and it was just like, boom, all right? And so, like, come on, man. Give me a second here. But if I come here, if I'm able to make, you know how we talk about the posture in the guard? Let go for a second, okay? Cross your feet, get a good grip, okay? The posture in the guard where I shift my hips forward and I push my back into his legs, okay, the spine. So I'm kind of, for lack of a better term, I'm creating an arch down here where it typically kind of bends in. I'm creating an arch like this. So when he pulls in, okay, pull, it's a lot of pressure on here. Here, if I'm like this, it starts to fall forward, okay, like this. So if I'm postured like, and my spine is has the S curve like it should, there's going to be a curve in here, then there's a curve out in the upper back thoracic region, and then a curve back in at the lumbar region, down up right above your hips, okay? That's where you're weakest, in those 2 points, here and here, as far as posture breaking goes. So if I'm sitting up nice and tall and he goes to pull me in, right, it starts to pull in one vertebrae at a time. Same is true when they go up here, but it starts from the top down. So if he's pulling here, like this, it seems counterintuitive. Like you think, oh man, you want to keep your head up. Okay, if I keep my head up, pull in, it starts to pull down, again, one vertebrae at a time, especially if the person's strong. I can put more strain, you feel a difference here, right? Mm-hmm. Now I posture up, and just both hands, just pop it up and away from me. Okay, so get up as high as you can, arch your neck, and lift your body up off the floor a little bit. Come again, because it puts more strain on it, just like if I stood up in the guard, okay? So I'm here, now there's more strain on the grip. Out like this, okay? Another option for you is to come here and flare this elbow out and move your hips in, or move your head inside. Do it again, okay? So to come here, right up by his neck, flare the elbow up, tuck your head underneath, okay? Sometimes that can be difficult to do, yeah. Another thing that can really annoy the person, especially if they have the tail wrap, which makes things really a lot more difficult. If they have the tail wrap, you can really put a lot of pressure just by pushing into their elbow here, okay? So what that looks like is this, wrap it around, yep, go all the way around. And I know this is coming, hold on, freeze, go back.
Oh, start from there.
So if I know this is coming, I'm gonna grab here already. I don't want the arm to come around my head. So if I can posture here, that's better. But I'm piling up the gi right at the elbow, and I'm pushing it in like this, okay? Now pass it over. Go ahead. Now, how do you feel?
It's not tight anymore.
It's not tight, and you don't feel comfortable, do you?
Yeah,
so my elbow's framed here. Now, try to pin your elbow down. Okay, and sometimes you can just break the grip right there. So that's a pretty strong framing here like that. So, hope those help a little bit. But.
So, outside of technique, do you think cardio, strength, or flexibility is more important? Or
Yes, correct. I think it's all important, but really, I mean, cardio, I will voice the opinion, at least I hope I'm voicing the opinion of my trainer properly. Mike Elkins Fitness, look him up. He's one of my blue belts, but he's also a top-notch personal trainer. Before that, the only guy that I had really worked with was Aaron Fry, also top-notch. You guys can look those guys up. Man, they were both knowledgeable. They're both blue belts, and they're both knowledgeable in jiu-jitsu. And I think they would probably both agree And when he talks to us as far as our training is concerned, he writes us up our workouts, and they're specifically designed for us. He knows how we move, he knows what we need, and what we want for our conditioning, what our goals are. And really, for me, it's to be a better jiu-jitsu, right? I don't want to look fat on the beach either, but more importantly, I want to be as functional as I can in jiu-jitsu. And what he would say is that he would always prioritize the strength over the cardio, because when you're training jiu-jitsu, just by nature of training jiu-jitsu, you're going to, the energy system that you're using, or maybe that's the wrong word, that sounds too technical. The type of energy that you're using when you're sparring, there's really nothing like it to replicate it. You can't replicate it on a treadmill or it's just different, right? Because you go fast, hold, grip, pressure, push, pull, you know what I mean? And it's so dynamic that I think the strength training is very important, and flexibility, of course, is always important. The more flexible you can get. So I think if I were to prioritize any of those, and a lot of it I think does depend on the individual, because flexibility can definitely help prevent injuries. So I think you should definitely stretch every time, before or after you train, or both. But I would prioritize the strength training, honestly, if you're already doing jiu-jitsu, because you're going to, I was at a seminar with Gracie, and somebody asked him, it's like, what do you do for conditioning, for jiu-jitsu? Do you run, bike, do you swim? He's like, he just looks at the guys like, do you play basketball to get good at football? We all kind of laughed, but it was true. It's like, and it's like, you want to get good at jiu-jitsu, do jiu-jitsu, right? So I think that's first and foremost. Steve Maxwell, very, very, one of the best physical personal trainers, whatever you want to call it, physical culturalists in the world, one of the most knowledgeable guys on the planet, would tell you that anything you can do, the more you can do that is sport specific, the better, right? And everything else should not take you away from that. It should help prepare you, as well as help you recover from the strains of that. So as much as you can do on the mat, you should. That's my personal thought. So I agree with him. I just listen to the guys who are still on the mat, who are much older than me, who have more knowledge. What is it that's keeping them healthy and fit and in shape? And man, I think the older we get, I think the strength training is very, very important to help our joints. I know I can tell a difference when I'm actually being diligent about lifting. My joints start to feel better. They really do. So I don't know. Hopefully I answered that satisfactorily. We'll see. So how are we doing on time?
We're at 12:33.
All right. Well, we may have time for maybe one more question for anybody out there. And then, or I can just ramble for a few more minutes. We can call it. Thanks, Robert. Hope they help. Anybody else? Hope that helped, David. Gave you some options there, but mostly I just like to annoy them and block the other hand, because it takes less energy to fight the really deep grip, especially somebody who's got a really strong grip there. So anyway, is that it?
No other questions so far.
All right. I think we've done enough damage. 35 minutes is good. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back Tuesday. Today was kind of fun because I had a sort of a theme in mind, so hopefully I puked out enough technique that was helpful for everyone. I know I didn't go into a lot of detail, but that's not really the idea. And some of those techniques are already on our YouTube channel, so you can look them up. But yeah, thanks for joining us, everybody. And everybody stay safe. We will hopefully see you all Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock, right? Back in the bunker. Let's do it. Have a great day, everyone.